But I would
Yeah.
expect that no jungle will outdraft the caveman.
Well, I'm in watching via Dota TV. For those of you who are tuning in who have no idea what's going on, each team has one mulligan per series, which means that they are able to say, no, we don't like the randomization that's occurred, both in terms of the heroes and the spells, and it's a redo. So like the whole game just starts again. And we're casting off Dota TV so we can keep the chat interaction, communication as low latency as possible. So as a result, we have people making sure the lobby starts off gracefully, and once it does, we jump into Dota TV, so we're watching in line with everyone else. So the Radiant side here is no jungle, some big names that you might recognize here, some hated names, Flop and Big Tonton. And then I mean some other very very well known people that have been around the 80s scene for a while. Fish, Faustus or Mahaximus. We have Lensk. On the Dire side, we have Roman Victor, Darren Tai, Futa, NT Dollar, and Phantomorph. I mean, I know Futa. I didn't actually know he was playing with the squad. And I know NT Dollar as well. But yeah, so the draft is going pretty quickly. Fury swipes.
The only thing
Stormhammer
that's
and
thrown me
Cyclone.
so far is the Zeus on the bulwark here. All of this stuff seems relatively straightforward in terms of the Lifestealer getting the Fury swipes, the Slardar getting the Rage,
Yeah.
the Omni Knight picking up. I would have expected maybe the Dispose over the, God, I never remember the name, the Spirit Siphon. But either of those going flippity flop. Bash is always a trap, so I'm glad to see that's picked up much much later in the draft.
Are there any combos with Bulwark? I mean, Great Cleave, not so good.
If there's something
Ghoul
out there,
Frenzy,
I don't
Feast.
see it.
I mean, there might be a bunch of things that are nice with the Bulwark, but I'm a little bit surprised that, like, even this ordering didn't happen the other way around, where Zeus got Rage. But, like, that
Yeah.
wouldn't be great first place.
Get the Rage on him and give the Bulwark to the Slardar kind of thing. But then you risk the
And
chance of the Lifestealer
I
getting
mean,
it.
the exhaust is mega names, right? The Enrage with the Earth Shock and so on. I don't think you can go wrong with the Bulwark, but in this case it was clearly a counter pick.
Yeah, there's also just lots of stuff that goes well with it. There's there's Infestal work, there's the Exorcism, there's Feast, Ghoul Frenzy, Great Cleave, and yeah, that's quite a lot of stuff already, I think.
I'm actually quite
And DP
surprised
Ultimate gets taken. Yeah, that's surprising.
Now we will see if the Infest actually goes to Zeus, then the picks sort of make sense. Because it's like your squishiest model, but it doesn't really matter if you're
There
on
we
side
go, yeah.
someone.
Yeah, I was just like, it's got to be in the Infest. That's the only thing that makes
Yeah.
sense. Go for the Bulwark Infest, then the squishiness factor just goes away completely. I'm actually sort of surprised that Gyro 2P let them have that. In terms of, I didn't even call it out because I didn't think it was going to happen.
And I think the Slardar is gonna be like excellent body for it.
Or the
with
spend.
I expected that. I thought the Lifestealer was going to take Infest to block that, and that's why I was looking for what the next thing
Yeah,
is. And I
like
was
we didn't even
surprised
talk
that.
about it because I didn't even think they were going to let it happen. Like this is such a known
I
thing.
mean, I listed it when I was going through the things. That's what, but I just thought Exorcism was going to be, more natural because the Infest was going to get blocked.
Yep.
But it's not like, it's annoying, but it's not. It's not like game ruining. I don't think it's not like it's not like an insane combination.
No. It's not game wrecking. You still got to get to the point of getting the stuff that you need online in the farm, and Zeus got to get
Yeah.
there to that farm to get the stuff that he needs, and then you're always sort of, putting that on the core that's got to be ahead, running at your other people. So if that core's behind, it's, you're just gonna have a bad game.
I'm a little bit surprised by the draft that's happened by the Mars. He went Dash to the deep level 1, which I mean Mars's body is pretty nice for it.
Yep.
But it's not a great first pick spell. Very overrated spell. Like has
It's a trap.
below 50% win rate. It's a big trap. But then got the
Especially in
Unleash, which
Heroes.
can be good.
I was expecting him to pick up, to be perfectly frank, the Overpowered on the way back, and he ended up picking up the Unleash, which I guess does the exact same kind of thing, but the Overpowered would allow him to do it, far more reliably, I would think.
Yeah. So now we're rounding out. Lensk is basically playing Tree without Leech Seed and with Heavenly Grace. The Mars is rounded out to super nice, aggressive body, despite doing it in a weird way. That Feast and Bash together, along with
the
the
Spirit
Unleash
to,
later on.
to keep on top of them as well, right? They're not going to be able to get away from the Mars.
Yeah. I like the Ursa build as well. Has the Fire Spirits and Supernova combo, but also the Crush to start it off. Needs just a Blink Dagger to become really effective. Lifestealer, I'm not sure what he's going to go for here. If he's going to go for Arena or God Strength. Okay,
It could go either way. Could go either way there. Both of them would be really
and
good.
Meepo's.
Meepo's
So we're going to
gonna
be
pick
seeing.
up the arena, right?
Or
I think
maybe
he
the
might
corrosive.
go Thunder Gods. I think all three of the ultimates make sense. I think Thunder Gods is pretty good too.
Yeah, but I don't think you want Aghanim on the Meepo because that way you commit each time you use the hammer. It's actually a double-edged sword.
Sure.
Now that wouldn't be horrible for him, right? Like he could jump in. He's not the squishiest of heroes. He does have the bolt and then the leap there to be able to, screw around once he's in. But
I'm really surprised that they didn't pick at the arena against 4 melees, basically 5 with the Zeus inside someone.
yeah, it could have gone very well for either team in terms of picking up the arena.
Also, one thing to note is that this was one of the drafts where Mass Serpent Wars was one of the extra ultis that came in, and it got picked up by a fish. So, is that extra elements of pushing that you might not recognize because one of the the ultimates coming from a hero that's not in the pool?
It's a good pick because they actually lack kind of pushing ability on the Radiant side right now.
Yeah, all
Even
of
the
these
right,
heroes lack it, really, if you think about it.
even the right clicker is relying on the Fury swipes, so
Yeah.
smart pickup.
So, early smoke coming out. No jungle. Going to be running into the jungle. And, what is this team name again? I forget what they were called. SQCavemen?
I just remember the cavemen.
Yeah.
The cavemen. I say that's a really early smoke to move out there and just place up a couple of wards. I would expect it.
Change it. Don't forget the overlay, by the way, RGB.
Yep. I just need to give it a minute, otherwise it's gonna still show the other stuff. Thank you for reminding me.
It wasn't me, it was chat. Shoutouts to Notorious Haru.
Interesting, they actually run the Meepo as a core mid.
I think that you have that ability with Lightning Bolts already. Like, it's able to harass out the lane and secure last hits. Tauntaun, very experienced as a mid player, can basically play anything mid. He has a Storm Hammer on top of that. And
but the Lightning Bolt is very expensive and Meepo has very low mana pool, so he will struggle on early before the bottle and mana boots, which he's rushing.
He's got both of
and then
those
in the
queued
bot
up.
lane, as you'd expect, it's Blop and a support, in this case Lensk. Lensk, one of the few players who plays ability draft a lot, but like actively likes playing support. Like very rarely plays a core role, or whereas most of the people.
You go on.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say he's one of the rare people, like in houses and stuff. He's totally. There's some people who play both, like core and support, but most of the time I think people enjoy playing core more. He seems to be one of the rare few.
It's definitely my case in my pubs.
I would
5
also
cores,
add
let's go!
Oh,
wow,
I would also add that he's one of the rare that are very good at being supports too, and play very sacrificial.
It's very hard to be a really good support, and especially even more so in AD in terms of all the randomness that can happen.
Shout out also to Green Eggs, aka Sam, one of the other diehard support players, always willing to be the support player on this team. Shout out to Space Cowboy, always being a core, greedy son of a bitch.
Lane is going so far probably as you would expect, right? The Dire is winning because they have way stronger laning builds. We have the Fierce Bash of the Deep on the top lane against melee heroes. Meepo obviously will struggle a little bit in mid against Zeus. With Arc Lightning we'll have much easier time farming.
Yeah, the laning stage I think is still good enough for, like, it's better for Dire, but it still can be good for the Radiant team. Like, they do have things that can do good, that can be explosive, especially when Block gets maybe level 3 Fury swipes, and I don't know if he's going to go 1-1 or what his exact build will be. But yeah, just a little bit of slow from Lensk with Nature's Grasp could be enough to set
Well,
up.
we already saw
Especially if
there.
we see-
They almost brought the Ursa down to 1/4 health
Yeah.
there with already just what they had. Another stack of Fury swipes or another little bit into that Nature's Grasp there. That's all it'll take.
Yeah, I think the Orb of Venom is pretty crucial for that idea.
Do already see the spirits leveled up though, so you can throw out the spirits there to throw a little bit of attack speed down, attack speed slow. Screw up the last hitting here.
I'm a bit worried though about Radiant top lane. Between the two heroes they have like non-kill potential. They have Poof and Warcry on the Omni. No damage on this lane, on the Radiant side. They will not be able to threaten the Mars at all.
But the Mars' build is kind of so good. It's very hard to imagine what could threaten him. He's got Feast, just Feast and Bash of the Deep is enough to sustain in the landing stage.
Some nukes and control between two heroes together might be enough, but they don't have that unfortunately.
Oh,
But they need to bring him down.
Hey, there we go.
They need to bring him down low and keep him low, because otherwise, he'll get so much HP from this lifesteal. So I think it's fine that they don't have a lot. It's not a huge concern, but they need to make sure that they don't feed and that their value in the mid game is guaranteed. What do you think about Fish's
sneaky
build?
kill on the mid?
He's definitely trying for it.
Yeah.
Under tower,
he
pulls
missed.
him in.
He missed the lightning bolt. Oh.
That's a feel bad.
And also obviously the water rune just spawned. So we're gonna see
Double
Roman
water
Victor pick
rune.
up 2 of those.
Yeah, this is going to be now very rough for me after this death.
So question, what are we gonna see happening on Fish? What's his goal moving forward? Does he want to be part of the team, using his spear and rebound, to be involved in team fights, or do you think he wants to become more of a split pusher, using serpent wards to keep the Dire team split up?
Good question. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
You think it could go either way? Okay.
I think it could go either way in terms of, there isn't that big lockdown out like the Mars Arena or that kind of thing to hold people in place that really take advantage of those Mass Serpent Wards in that same way. Ooh, that was a good pushback. They're gonna get Fish here. Oh, yes. That's enough damage. Or the same way, right? If they're grouping up and pushing one lane, just go to the other lane and use the Serpent Wars to, get a tower or push it out. Much like we saw last game where, the Ogre was just taking those towers down in the other lane despite what's going on.
Without Fish with them in the team fights, they will lack the very little crowd control they already have, since they have the spear on him. And there's very little else they have on their team. Only Stormhammer and Tauntaun.
Yeah, and that's probably the opening salvo.
Yeah, so far, very, very clean across the board. Similar gold, similar last hits. I've never seen this type of distribution for the top 6. Look at it. It's almost even between one or two last hits per hero per roll.
Oh, missing some action top there as they immediately get on the Fish again. They're looking for more here.
And bottom.
And bottom.
There's some engagements happening. The Dispel being used, I think, to remove the Fire Spirits.
Oh, here we go again, you're right.
And they're always able to use the Slytherin Crush as a reset. But the problem is, Ursa needs to make sure he has the mana to do so. So they need to, basically force him out of region. But clarities are cheap.
Yeah, and he's always having to pop it over here and stand off to the side for a couple of seconds while this is all going on. Doesn't mean they have that opportunity like this they have right now, but it's just got to rage away.
Action in the mid lane. Ton. Getting gone on. And Fish TPing to the mid lane. Bounce coming in on Robin and Victor and the spear. Yeah, excellent spear there. And
So
Urshock is going to get him
bounce.
out though, seems like. One more hit?
Oh, the
Yeah,
bottle will
unfortunately,
save
don't
him.
have a way. Still very nice gank from Fish. Almost worked out.
Action bottom. NT Dollar taking a bit of damage.
And there
Nice
goes the
dodge.
reset. And
Yeah.
they cannot do anything.
Yeah, so the only lane in which things can happen both ways is mid. And in the top lane, obviously, we can see the Dire make kills like they have before.
Mm.
But a lot of pressure, I think, on No Jungle. They are one of the teams coming into this that a lot of people have called their favorites. Obviously, some of the most hated and well-known ability drop players in the community. And yeah, that does add elements of pressure to this team.
Mm.
They're
It's
not
gonna be
playing against
real.
nobodies, but not a real team.
The one problem also that the Radiant will face that they don't want this to go very late. They have much better scaling cores on the Dire side, and they're already losing the early, especially in the XP department. So
I
they're
mean,
up for a rough game.
one thing is that the Radiant team are more experienced playing together, so they do have experience in these kind of like late game, ultra grindy games. They do also have the Serpent Wards, which are like this extra elements that I don't think we see on the on the Dire side at all. Like Fish could single-handedly win this game, I think, at certain points, if the positioning is good for him. If he gets just one or two key items. Right now, though, he is poverty central. He's got 2 last hits, just been pulling, and has a net worth of brown boots and a magic wand.
The 2 deaths on top hurt him, and the fact they didn't get the kill on mid.
Yeah, if that mid-rotation worked out, it would have been a lot better in his favor here. He would have been feeling a lot
Also,
better.
he's only level 3, it's almost 10 minutes in. It's gonna be very rough for him.
Oh, here's an
There he
engagement
goes.
bottom.
Stuns
They
come
start
in.
off, Stormhammer
Yeah,
out,
nice.
and that is the lockdown they need to finally finish off that bloody Ursa. They take him out immediately
Yeah.
as he is the threat.
He is the way that they can like always disengage if he gets a good stun off. Also, his attack speed slow.
Yep.
A lot of the damage coming out right now is just physical attacks from block.
Here we
Gonna
go
be another-
again. Raged it off immediately.
And Blop's build's going to be going for a single bracer into SNY.
So we did
In
say
general,
that the
Mars
one...
actually getting low on the top lane.
Oh yeah, they're running him down. Oh, that Spirit Siphon
He
doing
could die
so
there.
much work.
He actually dies.
Wow. Spirit Siphon, again, max HP is damage. It's huge. We said the one thing that Zeus needs, though, is to get that farm, to get that Ags, and now he's retreated in the jungle there to try to farm up the Ags to get the Infest Bulwark combo going. Notice that he hasn't put a single point into Bulwark yet.
I mean, he only needs 1 point, right?
Yep. And he doesn't need it until the combo is ready to go, so why put it in at all?
Yeah, and this is also the kind of thing that Tonton loves to do, is just be a super active mid, one that starts running around, making plays everywhere. Like, every single player on the map has got to be afraid of him. And he's coming in top,
Here we
trying to go
go.
this Ursa.
Ursa was
And
thinking
this
he's got the engagement, but he'll get the stomp off first, then the Stormhammer comes out onto the one. They'll spear him back into the trees. The Siphon's coming out, putting a lot of damage on him, but now comes the Spirits. Slow down the attack speed, but he does the Unleash, so it doesn't matter. He's laying into Fish. We'll eventually find him. Now they're bringing in help and Storm of the Spen coming in here, but he's really not doing a lot of damage right now. And the Mars is able to just sort of walk away from this without the Stormhammer being up again to be able to throw at him. So they'll throw it at someone else and use that as the disengagement.
We see right here again the lack of lockdown on the Radiant side. They weren't able to burst the Mars.
I
Keeping
think
there.
a lot changes when the tree gets level 6. I think
The
that will provide...
overgrowth will help.
The overgrowth will do 2 things. First of all, it's lockdown, but also like allows you to get the right spacing that you can get your spells and things off on Mars without him being able to get very much done.
To be honest, it feels a lot like the arena that we were talking about in terms of, you know, having that lockdown against those 5 heroes. It's going to do a lot of the same thing for them, and it's also going to give them the eyes in the forest. Not to be underestimated, the vision.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. They found the
Good.
spin in the trees. The Stormhammer, he'll throw him back into the forest, but they still got 2 here. They're trying to chase him down. It looks like they will have it with the Spirit Siphon. They're looking for more in the form of the Mars. And they will run up after him. Danton, very ballsy, looking for more here. Just froze out the
Not a
ult.
lot of no mana.
Yeah, he has no mana, he's just scaring him off.
Yep, just froze up the ult for the vision, just to keep an eye on him while he's farming up the jungle. That allows them to take top tower.
Mars got a dagger queued up. Very, very nice, I think.
I would like him to have BKB as fast as possible though. Once the overgrowth is up, he will need to use the BKB afterwards to dispel it.
Yeah, we're
The
talking
thing
about
is that
it's
I
the
think-
counter, right? So the BKB is the counter to the counter.
Yep.
I think if there's good vision though, we'll always see the lightning bolt going off on him. So blink dagger might not be as good.
Also, if Omni ever closes the gap for the Siphon, it will just stay on, so he won't be able to blink.
They're making a call here to invade the dire jungle, but I don't think anyone's here, so no one's home. They do find the stack, though.
Yeah, I mean it's a small stack, and I think taking this bottom tower should be more of a priority. They're gonna come in here. They are gonna find the one person they don't want to find.
They'll throw the stun
Stun
at them all the
comes out.
same, but they have the Mars coming in here now. They'll throw down the egg at the distance.
Overgrowth used too early.
Way too early in the overgrowth there, but they're trying to find any kind of lockdown they can there, and eventually they'll
Oh,
throw
nice.
Nice ward.
Oh, good zoning out with the snakes. Brilliant placement on the steps there. Stormhammer's back up,
Oh,
catches
3.
3. The lightning does bring down the Mars in the back line. They're looking for more in the form of this Omni. He's got the Spirit Siphon up. It's not enough to get him healed up, though. And they will continue running down Radiant. Piggy comes out looking for more. Whoa! Speared back. The Exorcisms here looking to do some tower damage now.
Trying to get the stuns off onto Tantan. A lot of damage coming forward.
Oh, the
This
rage is
Exo
popped.
just- Yeah, I
Very
think that they need to run.
disorganized fight on the dire side, I would say. Meanwhile,
So
Zeus is still farming in the jungle.
like purely responsive in terms of that initial engagement, and then deciding to run them down. Here's Meepo again. The Omni in tow, the rage immediately. That's not the target they wanted to find, but it will allow them to get the tower here, as it will force them back.
Yeah, they'll do a little bit of damage here.
Oh,
Right,
we
where's the
already
Zeus?
see-
Well, Omni's
see the
cutting the
Mars
wave, so
switching.
they can sit here if they want. So I would expect this
Zeus
tower
is gonna have Ags. Zeus will have Ags in like another less than a minute.
We also can see the Mars is switched to BKB after this fight from the Blink Dagger.
Yeah. He also finished Armlet, right? I don't know if you had that
Yep.
if you had that fully done when he
I
we were
don't
talking
believe that he did have it fully done when they did the initial engagement there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's fresh. I'm not sure if it's the right call though. It doesn't help him farm either. Or to survive in the fights.
In some sense it does. Like but maybe not against the Spirit Siphon.
But he's been the target for the Spirit Siphon like every time Omni can get on top of him.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
And
in
that will
terms of
remain the
he's-
case too.
Like he's the target for that. Just has to be, so yeah, it could end up backfiring on him a little bit there if he toggles it at just the wrong moment.
Halberd being built on Slardar. I would expect a lot of Halberds in this game in general.
Well, it's kind of the play, right? When you have a bunch of like,
Ooh,
5
Blup changed his
Lees.
build, by the way.
Mm.
Blup went to Morbid Mask, and he's going to Chrysalis into Silver Edge.
Oop, we do see the Infest
Not
combo is
sure
now
how
up
much
and running.
value.
So here we go. Oh,
Oh,
trap
nice
him in the
mix
stakes,
again.
but they push him out with the spear. Out comes the ult there. No damage taken out. Just has to sit on tower, but they'll fortify, so they're going to push back here. He is
Yeah,
very
I don't
low.
think the Mars is a good vessel. The Slardar would be way better.
I think they'll figure that out here in a second.
I mean, it was just like critical mass, you know? We see the Mars finishing off Armlet, having Ogre Axe. Like, he is really, like, way more farmed than the Slaughter. But I agree, yeah, Slaughter's, especially once he gets up.
Well, it just creates two threatening targets is the main
Halberd.
thing that I'm looking at here in terms of then you
Hmm.
got to deal with the Slardar and now has the infested target as well as the Mars. And it's like you can probably deal with one of them, but not both.
Sensei does a very good point. Well, because right now they can just ignore the Slardar. He's survivable, but he's not threatening. So.
Yeah, he's not doing anything to them, right? And he always rages off their engagements and everything else, so... You guys see it again, they're poking and prodding in. This may be a bit of a mistake, as they're looking now to chase out. The pole works on the wrong side, so he's got to walk past him, and he does find him eventually, but the real question is, will he
Meanwhile,
find
Blop
any
is
more?
rushing. Just casual rush.
Oh, here we go. They will find more in the form of the Omni. Oh, he is gone. Who was that? Raw? Oh, Blop picked up the Aegis. He's coming in, ready to fight.
Yeah, he was rushing the whole time. If they can catch Futa here, this would be really good. But
this would be really good,
like
but they're running back now. They heard it, and they're running. I would be too.
Here we go. Futa's getting got him.
Oh, they're running forward now. He's inside of the Omni. Or no, he's not. He's right there. Okay. I was like, why is he inside?
Oh, where's the overgrowth? Where's the overgrowth?
There it is.
Gets
Last
it
second.
Gets it off. Nice.
Oh, the Heavenly Grace doing so much work there. Status resistance. Extra little bit of healing.
And they're gonna,
oh my god.
they're gonna kill Mars. Oh,
oh, comes the egg.
Okay.
They got the snakes down on them too, so the snakes are holding the one there. Egg goes off. Stuns up the three of them that are here. They're looking for Blop. Blop is not the target you want to find though. It'll just be the Aegis.
Yeah, he's just punching, smacking.
Oh, and they're just pulling them apart one by one here now.
They need a little bit more though. There's a slow coming off.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Blown up. Blown up.
Unfortunately, they keep sticking with the infests on the Mars, which is not the play.
Alright, so mid tower, gonna take a little bit of damage. Bottom tower will get saved out by the Mars. The game is a little bit advantage towards Radiant, but the pressure is still on for them to sort of end faster.
I would say they have a good advantage right now. They're in a very good spot, right? They're going to take this tower. Blop still has the Aegis for another 3 minutes. They could force another objective here if they really wanted to.
But they're not going to get very much more done with this Aegis, I don't think. Like, there's no natural objectives for them to take. It's just going to be like another 4 minutes of farming.
Also, the network might be relatively close, but the items on the Radiant side are much more impactful, right? We have on the Dire side stuff like the armlet on the Mars and so on that actually don't help much.
Yeah, and we still see a lot of
Meanwhile,
things sort
we
of
have the
being
break.
completed, right? There's in bits and pieces of stuff here and there.
Hmm.
It's not a lot.
I mean, the other thing is also,
So
Blop really only has one item, like one real item. Would like to see that change before the next fight.
Oh, it's still the most farmed hero on the map. It's just quite
Yeah. I just think he, like, if he has something like a dagger or something, like his value in a team fight is like goes up by a huge amount.
Oh, it looks like he's queued up a BKB, so he'll be picking that
also
up next.
sensible choice.
Yeah.
It's at the Wraith Pack recipe. So the Vlad's is already done in the Marcy. Looks like going the Wraith Pack, which is the natural upgrade there. In my pubs, I never see that upgraded, but I see it upgraded in every pro player I ever see using it.
It's incredibly powerful item.
It just feels like such a natural upgrade. If you're already getting the Vlads, why not just, you know, spend the extra like 12, 1300 gold, whatever it is, and get the upgrade.
So the cavemen are going to take the tier 1 bot. Meanwhile, Radiants have already taken tier 2 top and are looking to go high ground. Break coming off. Garanti's taking some damage. They will need a TP. They have taken the tower though.
So they're bringing back like 1 or 2
starter.
here though. They're leaving 1 to farm the jungle, so they don't feel like this is going to be a threat.
I think Futa wants to finish his BKB no matter what.
He's
And
well
he's
warded up
cyclosed it.
here as well. He should see anyone coming through this, and he decides now's the time to leave.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Invisibility!
This Shivas is going to be huge on the Omni when he finishes this up eventually.
Mm.
He's already
Also,
got the
halberd being
Spirit.
built by Meeple.
Meeple's been building that Hellbid the whole game, though. That's what it feels like. Anyways, it's like, I guess I went the Yules
Yeah, he
first
doesn't
here.
really have a way to farm, so he's just rotating and ganking.
Speaking of which, he has an egg. You can get smacked a little bit. No, they're gonna walk away
No, they're
instead.
gonna run away. Oh, no courier snipe that time.
The Meepo is basically second boss 4 at this point in the game.
Yeah, for the mid matchup that we were talking about there, I don't think he's had quite the impact that I was hoping for.
He's still very annoying though. He's got the Yule's control, AoE stun potentially with Stormhammer. Lightning Bolt is always really annoying.
Yep.
And speaking of annoying, Nenska's gonna die here without getting his ultimate off.
They're looking for more and
Here
they're hunting
comes
them
the
down.
Exo.
They go right for the Meepo. Gotta use the Yules defensively here as it comes out, but you'll still find him. They got
Oh,
rewards. Hold him in.
Food is in trouble.
Oh, he gets out. Phase Boot's doing
Yeah,
work there.
Mars will drop here.
Oof, Mars is done. Now the easy
And now
follow-up.
Bob will clean up.
They're looking for this Slark. This is what we talked about. Slark did nothing that battle, right? If the Mars was over here doing work, and then Slark had the Infest target, oh my gosh, that would have been a completely different fight.
Hmm. And
Did
as
you
you
say
can
the
see,
Slark?
Slark, sorry.
Cloudar, yeah. But as you can see, like, nothing the Mars did require the help from the Zeus with the Bulwark. He just pops BKB and runs in with Unleash. So no
yeah.
added value.
So it is a particularly quiet game for Tauntaun, and what our trusty Twitch chatter Green Egg Sam has said, it isn't a very Tauntaun build in his opinion. However, it is Tauntaun playing it, so you know that no matter what the build is, he will be a threatening little
He'll
annoying
play it
person.
like Tauntaun, yes.
But as you can see, is actually from all the cores, he has actually the lowest even kill presence, and that's coming from mid that ganks early. Quite unusual for Tauntaun.
And yeah, in reality, I mean, it is like the Omni and the Lifestealer doing most of the heavy lifting for the Radiant side, and everyone else is, like as you
I would
expect,
also add the
supports.
fish with the serpent wards. They're always on point.
Oh
They
yeah.
actually help quite a lot in the fights. So
Just
Yeah,
zoning
that's-
people out,
I wouldn't
keeping
count it
people
out.
locked down. I wasn't even expecting that. They're just using it to lock down people in the fights completely there.
It's especially potent against the Mars, who has to wait for the Unleash pops to up.
I think the game also would have been a lot easier if they had Arena.
Hmm.
And we talked about how the overgrowth here adds a lot of the same aspects that the arena does, but they're not getting it off in the same vein as
But
they would in arena.
You can
if you pop
combine them
Arena
though.
first, if you pop Arena first, then you need to use BKBs and Mantis to try escape.
Yep,
Whatever,
and
so
then you can pop Overgrowth, and they cannot
and then you
counter
pop
it.
Overgrowth. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's the play.
Yeah, it's a good 1-2 counter punch.
I do like the general visibility that Corrosive Haze gives you, similar to Track, but obviously you get the armor, not the gold. But nonetheless, it is still winnable here, certainly. For
Radiance
the dire
almost
side.
finished on Zeus. Not
How
sure
much
how
does
much
he
that one would help actually. I would rather see him buy like team items like the Vladimir's to help his course.
We're gonna see if Vlad's on the Sven though.
Yeah, it looks like it's queued up there.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about that because the Sven melts in the fights. Yeah, they won't be getting match value out of it.
Yeah, if he plays too passive, then Exorcism doesn't provide that much value.
I think the Exorcism didn't provide any value in this game, unfortunately. It's very risky pick on support. They probably I don't know even why they picked it on the Sven, because it would be really nice with the Bulwark, but I guess they were already focused on the Infest combo.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was if Bulwark was picked on Slardar, for example, then it doesn't matter if you don't get Infest because you can get the Exo.
But imagine the Exorcism on Slardar and the Guardian Angel instead of Sven. Then Slardar gets infested and goes in with the Exorcism and Rage. That would be
Insane.
very potent.
That would be illegal.
Oh, we do
Yeah,
see
So all of the other
smoke.
towers, are taken for Dire Team, and Radiants have 4 remaining. There's a little bit of a pressure coming in here.
Well, they
Stun
eventually
coming in
run
on
them
1.
down. They'll arrow them back, but now come the BKBs. They're looking for a fight here. 2 come out, they'll lock down the 1, but the wards here don't find their intended target.
Oh,
Egg.
now it's gonna be hard. BKBs are down.
Really split up this fight.
Hmm.
They got one half fighting over there and the other half fighting over here.
So they are going to re-engage, and Blop is now able to come in. One thing to say about Blop in this game is that he's come into the team fights exactly when he's needed to. He's lingered on the edges, avoided as much, but now that he's got BKB, he can come in the perfect time and not get locked down at all.
There we see another very messy fight from the Dire, and again the same mistakes. Infesting the Mars. Focusing the Treant after he used the Overgrowth, which is basically a waste of your time and damage from the course.
And to be honest, his Overgrowth was pretty bad that time. It was just, it was just on the edge, and I think it only caught 1 hero.
I was going to say, I think it only caught the 1.
Yep.
But
And basically
now
there's
they gotta
no
be careful
reason.
though. They gotta get back now. The whole squad is basically.
I think they can re-engage. I think
Do a
that
fake
Faustus
back?
is very, very strong on this Omni.
Yeah, this is a very ballsy play on the Mars. No HP, BK being in.
And the Red Pact is just out and walking about.
Oh,
So it looks
yeah,
like
they
they're going to
cannot
kill...
afford to kill it. 7 hits, you don't have time for that in the fight. With melee heroes.
And yeah, this is going to be another lane of racks. Maybe they'll go for Megas here. Because Treant Protector is back and has Overgrowth again.
Yeah, they can force them down for a second, but as you say, they'll just reset.
Rush is back, so that is a concern. And top
Also,
there's some farm available.
I would also mention, I really like the itemization on the Treant. Like, normally when you have Overgrowth, you usually just focus on the Daganims, but they already have all the vision they need. Yeah. And the Ghost Scepter and Holy Locket means they are wasting so much more time on him in fights.
We talked about that's essentially useless, right? You know, he just wants to put the Overgrowth off, and as soon as he does that, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
He's also done a good job of keeping the towers topped up before they've fallen. So it's taken like a more concerted effort from the Dire side, and that's what's also led to some of these engagements where they have to commit. They can't just shove waves and hope for the best. Zeus gonna get caught out here. Spear coming through. Yeah. Infest into a creep.
That's fun in combination.
And then the fight's a little bit split up here. Lensk is gonna get brought down, it seems, but
Mars
so
will
is
find the target.
So is Zeus. Yeah.
Oh, and they're leaping in for more. Mercy's in deep. Out comes the ult.
Spear connects, doesn't do enough.
Oh,
Kutha's gonna try to run, but
running forward. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage coming out. He'll turn, find 2 of them immediately. That's a 2-hit wonder right there. Come on, just walk up and hit him. You know you wanna. Throws a stun out, rages immediately.
Darren's been on point with the rages.
Oh god, if he wasn't, he'd be dead 3 or 4 times already. It's been perfect.
Unfortunately, his hero has absolutely no impact. It's completely reliant on the Zeus infesting him. You can see 1 to 4. He basically doesn't exist, unfortunately.
And he has the final interacts. Under threat. 20k gold advantage. Aegis still raring to go. And this Wraith Pact, once again being a little annoying punk sitting in the backlines.
Yeah, and you just cannot afford to hit it in fights with these comp.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it's like, as you said earlier, it's essentially 5 melee heroes. Or 4 melee heroes, because the Zeus is inside someone.
Yep. Now they're just playing with the food.
Yeah, Block could die here.
Hey, as you just...
Right, he could die twice.
I don't think they have actually means for that on the dire side.
Just chance Santa.
Yeah,
Anyway, GG's called out. So no jungle take the W. And what does that mean? Who's playing next? What's the situation? Let's speedrun this. RGB. It's one of these teams, right? Playing next, or is it the other two?
Yeah, it's the SQCavemen against Gyro 2 OP.
Okay. So I mean,
Correct.
yeah, this was a. So if we take it, if we 30 seconds summarize the game. Pretty reasonable draft from both sides. Some mistakes, definitely. I think more on the Dire side than on the Radiant side in the drafting phase. But Radiant did draft unconventionally for Tauntaun. Put him in a weird position, at least in the last pick. He still managed to do some things, but wasn't up to his usual standards. Laning stage, mid lane was a wash. Both sides got some stuff done. Invicta outplayed Tauntaun in First Blood in the lane, while Tauntaun ran around and made plays. The Zeus was just farming up for his Ags. Kind of negligible impact when that did come online. Bot lane was a wash. Always able to reset from the Slardar, except when Tauntaun was around. Top lane, the Mars, we were saying how strong the Mars was, but he ended up dying to fastest solo, which was kind of strange. Overall,
Probably.
what are your any final thoughts on the game, Gerwoman, RGB? Summarize.
I think it was a lot of misplay in terms of they could have gone a lot different if they just put the infest in a different person. And it would have been a whole different game, I think, in a lot of those team fights, and we would have seen those later couple of minutes played out very differently.
Gerwoman, any
Also,
final
a
thoughts?
little bit, they also countered themselves kind of on the dire side during the drafting phase, like picking exorcism and support, getting no use out of that, then getting the Guardian Angel and Slardar that heavily benefit from it. But that's the problem with their type of drafting, where they basically are drafting good spells, but then their hero are not very cohesive.
I see. Okay.
Good game, but
So you've seen every team play once now. You've seen G2OP, TRNs, no jungle cavemen. What's your prediction for the final standings of the group after all 6 games are done? Who's going to be who's your 1, 2, 3, 4? How do you rank it out?
who's the question I am to? Me or the RGB Knight?
We can do
Open
it.
question to
You
the
go
floor.
first. You go first. RGB's
Okay,
around
I would
for a bit longer.
expect the no jungle be the number one. I don't think it's gonna be close. Then probably Gyro 2 OP, and then SQCavemen and Terran Assassins. That would be my 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. RGB, agree, disagree, slightly reordering, NA Pride.
No, I wouldn't say NA Pride. I do think that No Jungle does have a slight upper advantage on Gyro 2 OP, at least in their current sort of lineup that they're running here. It'll be really a big toss-up between the 3-4, I think, in terms of those two teams when they go head-to-head. I think we'll see a much more, I wouldn't say fair or balanced game, but in terms of, I couldn't call it in terms of based on the players and the skills and these kind of things. It's going to come a lot down to the draft and who does what in the game. So I think it'll be a lot harder to call the 3-4.
Okay. So that's pretty reassuring, especially what's nice is those are kind of like the top of the card games of tonight. Is the what you predict is 1 versus 2 is the 5th game of the night, starting at 9 p.m. CST, and at 10 p.m. CST is what you'll predict is going to be the 3rd versus 4th. So could be the deciding, the deciding flip flops between those two.
Yeah.
The two,
it could come down to that last final game. It did last night there, so that was fun and exciting. So